sit down. I'm going to tell you something that might sting more than the loss itself. I'm 73. I've buried friends. I've stood at gravesides in the snow and in the baking sun. I've held the hands of the dying, and I've walked away from the holes they left behind. By the time you finish listening to me, you're going to understand why grief feels different now than it did when you were 30, and what you can actually do about it. Let's be honest about this stage of life. You thought by now the losses would slow down, that you'd have some peace. Instead, every year takes someone else. A cousin, a neighbor, the friend you swore you'd grow old with. And the grief doesn't just knock, it moves in. It sits at your table. It sleeps in the chair across from you. Nobody warned you about that, did they?
The world tells you to move on. They say they're in a better place. They say time heals all wounds. They hand you a pamphlet and a casserole and expect you to be better in a few weeks. But you're not better. You're emptier, and you're starting to wonder if something is wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. What's wrong is what they taught you about grief. What's wrong is that nobody over 60 tells the truth about what it really does to a person. So I'm going to sit here with you in the firelight, and I'm going to give you the 4 truths they never put in a card. 4 truths about grief after 60 that will either break you open or set you free. The old ones had a saying, the river does not stop flowing just because you lost someone who drank from it. Grief isn't an enemy. It's not a sickness. It's the other side of love. And if you loved hard, you're going to grieve hard. That's the deal. That's the trade. But modern life wants you to be okay by Tuesday. It wants you to smile and nod and go back to the grocery store like you didn't just lose the center of your world. That lie is what's making you sick. The old way understood something different. The old way said, you carry them with you, not in a box, not in a memory, in your bones, in the way you walk, in the way you pour coffee for 1 instead of 2. So let me give you the 4 truths. They won't take the pain away. Nothing will. But they'll give you a shape for it, a way to carry it that doesn't break your back. Truth number 1, grief doesn't get smaller. You get bigger. You hear people say, time heals. That's not true. Time doesn't heal anything. Time just passes. What changes is you. Think of it like this. When my friend Ruth lost her husband Arthur, she told me she felt like she was drowning. Every day she woke up, and the grief was the same size as the day he died. A year later, she told me she still felt like she was drowning, but I noticed something. She was swimming. Not well, not gracefully, but she was moving. The grief didn't shrink. Ruth grew. She grew around it. She learned to live with it in the room. She stopped expecting it to leave. That's the truth nobody tells you. The hole in your heart stays the same size, but your heart gets bigger. Not because you forget, because you make room. You've been waiting for the grief to get smaller, haven't you? Stop waiting. Start growing. Truth number 2, grief will show up as anger first, and that's okay. You're going to feel things you don't want to feel. You're going to get mad at the doctor, mad at the driver who cut you off, mad at the neighbor who said the wrong thing, mad at them for leaving you, mad at God if you believe in that, mad at the universe for being so indifferent. That's grief in a wolf's coat. It's not anger. It's love with nowhere to go. I remember Earl. He was a quiet man, never raised his voice in 40 years of marriage. After his wife Beatrice passed, He started yelling at the television, yelling at the mailman, kicked his porch railing so hard he bruised his foot. He came to me shamefaced, said, "Helen, I don't know who I am anymore. I'm so angry all the time." I told him, "Earl, you're not angry. You're grieving. And that anger, that's just your love for her trying to find a way out because the door she used to walk through is closed." He sat with that for a long time. Then he started to cry, real, deep, animal crying. And I let him. I didn't tell him to stop. I didn't tell him to calm down because he needed to feel that fire. He needed to let it burn. You might feel angry too. Don't push it down. Don't apologize for it. Just don't let it hurt anyone. Let it out in the woods. Let it out in a scream. Let it out in your hands digging in the dirt. Anger is grief's first language, and it's okay to speak it. Truth number 3. You will grieve the person you were with them. This one surprises people. They expect to grieve the person who died. They don't expect to grieve themselves. When Edith lost her sister Mabel, she said to me, "Helen, I don't know how to be me without her. She knew every version of me. She knew the girl I was at 12. She knew the mother I was at 30. She knew the woman I was at 60. And now she's gone. And it's like those versions of me died with her." She was right. And so are you if you feel that. You grieve the inside jokes. You grieve the phone calls. You grieve the person who remembered things with you. You grieve the witness to your life. You grieve the mirror that reflected back who you are. That's a real loss. That's a death too. The death of the version of you that existed in their eyes. So you have to learn who you are without them. And that's hard. That's harder than people think. You have to rebuild your identity from the ground up, and you're tired and you're old and you didn't ask for this. But it's a truth you have to face. You're not the same person anymore. And trying to be that person is what's wearing you out. Let that person go. Grieve them. And then slowly, painfully, start to discover who you are now. Truth number 4. Grief is not a chapter, it's a thread. They tell you there are stages: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. Like a ladder. Like you climb up and then you're done. That's a lie. That's a helpful little package they wrap it in so they don't have to look at the mess. The truth is, grief is a thread that runs through everything from now on. My grandmother used to say, when you lose someone, they become part of the river. You're standing in the same water, but it's different. They're in the current, they're in the rocks, they're in the light on the surface. You can't separate the river from what's in it. The river carries them. That's what grief is. It's not a stage you pass through. It's a thread woven into every single day for the rest of your life. Some days the thread is tight. Some days it's loose. Some days you won't notice it at all. And some days it'll pull so hard you feel like you're coming apart. But the thread is always there. And here's the hard truth. It's okay that it's always there. It's okay that you're not over it. You're not supposed to be over it. You loved them. That doesn't end. Their place in your life doesn't end. It changes, but it doesn't end. Stop trying to be finished with grief. You won't be, and you don't need to be. So there they are. 4 truths. 1, grief doesn't shrink, you grow. 2, grief wears anger like a mask. 3, you will grieve who you used to be. 4, grief is a thread, not a chapter. But here's where I turn it back on you. I've told you what you're carrying. I've told you why it's heavy. But now the harder question is about you. What are you doing with the weight? Are you carrying it like a stone you're trying to put down? Are you fighting it? Are you pretending it's not there? Are you letting it make you bitter? Are you turning it into walls around your heart so nobody else can get close and hurt you like that again? I know you're hurting. I know you're tired. I'm not here to tell you to smile or to cheer up or to find the silver lining. That's nonsense. That's for people who haven't lived long enough to know better. But I am going to tell you this. You have a choice. You can let the grief close you off. You can let it freeze you. You can let it turn you into someone who sits alone in a quiet room waiting for the end. A lot of people do that. It's the easy way, the silent, slow way. Or you can let the grief teach you. Let it open your eyes. Let it show you what really matters. Because it will, if you let it. Here's one small step. I'm not asking you to heal. I'm not asking you to move on. I'm asking you to do this one thing. Tomorrow morning, before you get out of bed, think of one person you still have, just one, and say their name out loud, just their name. That's all. And then when you see them, even if it's just a phone call, tell them something real. Tell them a memory you hold of them. Tell them why they matter. One name, one memory. That's your step. That's how you start to let the thread weave through instead of cut you. And I want you to tell me about them. Down in the comments, tell me, who is that person? Just a name. Just a first name. I don't need a story. Just the name. I read everyone. The fire's burning low. The light's going down behind the rocks. You've got fewer evenings ahead than behind. Don't waste a single one.